Please stand as you are able for the presentation of colors by NGA, Police, Honor Guard, and the National Anthem, sung by Christopher Rumpsa.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please welcome to the stage today's MC, USGIF Chief Executive Officer Ronda Schrenk.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to GEOINT 2025. It's wonderful to be back among so many friends, colleagues, partners, as we come together to connect, to collaborate, and to shape the future of our field. This year's theme, Building a Secure Tomorrow Together, speaks directly to our shared responsibility, along with the opportunity that we all have. And we're pleased to be back here in St. Louis, where we will soon have a new home for NGA's West headquarters. A short few months ago, I was getting a text almost every day saying, "Is GEOINT happening? I heard it was canceled." Well, I am proud to say that we are here, and we are joined by more than 3,500 participants from every corner of the community. It's an extraordinary mix of people, each bringing perspectives from across a wide range of backgrounds, disciplines, and sectors. This impressive gathering of professionals is where the next chapter of our mission begins. The GEOINT Symposium is a cornerstone in USGIF's ongoing effort to build the GEOINT community. It's a chance to share insights and challenge assumptions. Together, we are here to advance the tradecraft of our discipline. to accelerate innovation in ways that matter across government, industry, and academia. And there's so much more to take in during our short time here. I'm delighted to say that 254 organizations will showcase their cutting-edge technologies, applications, and solutions in the exhibit hall. And many thanks to the 201 speakers who are sharing their insights in 141 sessions, including keynote addresses, expert panels, training sessions, and lightning talks. We're especially pleased to welcome 400 international guests from 30 countries. Your presence enriches our dialogue and strengthens the global perspective that's so essential to our collective national security. Additionally, we're grateful for the participation and representatives from 44 academic institutions, helping us to bridge the gap between research and real-world applications, as well as educating our workforce of tomorrow. Now let's get to know each other a little bit, shall we? At last year's symposium in Orlando, nearly a third of the attendees were here for the very first time. So let's take a quick pulse. Who here is joining us at the symposium for the first time? Let's see a raise of hands. Okay, if you don't have your hand raised, let's meet some of those people that are here for the first time. And for those who raised their hand, we are thrilled to have you as a part of our GEOINT family. All right, so thank you for being here. I am so excited for this week. And of course, it wouldn't be a GEOINT symposium without a broad selection of participants from across government, industry, academia, and others. We're glad you're here, and we're confident that the time that you spend together this week will spark fresh thinking, bold approaches, and new capabilities in service of our shared vision. And here's a special shout out to the Golden Class Ticket of 2025. Where are you? Raise your hands. Right there. Come on, let's give them a round. If you don't know about this program, you should check it out. Congratulations to you. These 22 exceptional young professionals were chosen from an incredibly competitive pool to participate in a dedicated, immersive program this week featuring training sessions, very high-level specialized mentoring, and inclusion in our VIP events. So take a look at them. These are the movers and shakers that are going to be on this stage in the years to come. We're also thrilled to welcome 20 high school students from USGIF partner organizations. Those of you who were with us last year at GEOINT 24 remember that we hosted a cohort of high school students from Gateway Global American Youth, as well as Elevate Orlando. Here's a photo of the group with one of our keynote speakers from last year and a mentor to many young people, Dr. Stacy Dixon, who was then the Principal Deputy Director of National Intelligence. This year, we're pleased to welcome another cohort from Gateway Global and one from Spark, a collaboration between the Parkway and Rockwood school districts and business partners, community service and educational leaders. We're immensely proud to be affiliated with all of our high school programs as they introduce the next generation of possibilities of GEOINT and STEM. They have a powerful impact on students' lives and on the future of our community. I would also like to give a big shout out and welcome to my friend, Brian Tarallo from Lizard Brain. You can see Brian right over here. Brian, give a wave. So Brian's going to be doing graphic facilitation. I don't know how often you've seen this, but it's one of my favorite parts of capturing what's happening during a meeting or a session as big as this. So from time to time, we'll be checking in on him and popping his work up on the screen. And at the end of this morning's session, we'll talk a little bit more about how he'll be contributing to the symposium throughout the week on the USGIF booth. So we have an outstanding program ahead of us today. To help us open the symposium, please join me in welcoming a distinguished leader in our field who's known to many of you, the chairman of the USGIF Board of Directors, Robert Cardillo.
Thank you, Ronda. Thank you, Ronda. Literally my favorite morning of the year when we get to open yet another successful GEOINT Symposium. Thank you all for joining. Ronda, I want to start by picking up our focus on community, because the community that's hosting us this year for the third time in 5 years had some recent tragic weather events. Just last Friday, the St. Louis area was hit with some devastating storms, which included a great deal of damage and, very unfortunately, the loss of a handful of lives. And so, to our host city and to the region, I ask you to join me in a moment of silence, especially for those who tragically passed during the storm. Thank you. We'll obviously keep them in our hearts and minds, and obviously the community will continue to support. Now, as we get started, Ronda and I are going to take a moment, as we did last year, to reflect, quite frankly, on the incredible contributions this room, this team, this profession has made. We're going to highlight a few recent examples that speak to the heart of what makes our community so extraordinary. And that's because we deliver tangible impact by combining the extraordinary pace of technological innovation with that human insight that only the expertise can provide. And by the way, that pairing of the two isn't optional. It's actually essential. Because the challenges that we all face today aren't static. We know that. They're accelerating, they're converging, they're becoming more and more interconnected, whether that is in global security or climate resilience or digital trust. And to combat that network of threats, we in fact have to create and then perform as an even better network of solutions. Now, GEOINT, I'm proud to say, stands apart from the other disciplines, not just for what we see and what we sense, but for how we see and how we think about it. And thus we thrive right at that intersection between sensing and understanding, between automation and judgment, between signals and strategy. And it's where we don't just capture what's happening, but we generate the clarity about why it matters. So sure, we're going to pursue with you better sensing, faster processors, more informed and smarter algorithms, as we must, but we're going to also sharpen our tradecraft, we're going to rethink our workflows, we'll challenge our biases, we'll invest in the people who are going to make meaning out of that complexity. Coherence from chaos, said one former NGA director. Because at its core, GEOINT isn't really just merely a capability. It's a calling, it's a mindset, it's a mission.
Thank you, Robert, for grounding us both in the promise and the responsibility of the moment. Now let's take a closer look at some of the ways our community has risen to challenge that through collaboration and the integration of human expertise and cutting-edge technologies. Collection managers have always faced the daunting task of coordinating the growing number of remote sensing capabilities. This challenge is compounded when trying to piece together these capabilities to solve the persistence problem. Recently, Gravity, formerly known as Royce-Geo, tackled the problem with great success during a U.S. Coast Guard narcotics operation. Government analysts turned to Gravity to develop a persistent collection plan aimed at maintaining custody of a suspected narcotics trafficking vessel. With precision, analysts constructed and implemented a plan that orchestrated numerous collectors, ensuring seamless coverage without gaps, as depicted in the accompanying graphic. This strategic approach not only resulted in the capture of the vessel and its operators, but also enabled national assets to reallocate to other critical priorities. This capability acted as a force multiplier for U.S. Southern Command and the Coast Guard, underscoring the effectiveness of integrated and persistent collection strategies in operational success.
Now, just as in that case, emergency responders need a crisp, clear understanding of a natural disaster to focus resources where they can make the greatest impact. This helps them better support state and local governments and speed aid to where it's needed by putting GEOINT into the hands of first responders. Now, during the devastating Los Angeles fires in January, federal emergency operators with no or very little GEOINT experience used Dante, which is a generative AI-based knowledge engine, to provide rapid situational awareness. They did in seconds what would have taken an experienced analyst many hours. Now, here's just one example on the screen. Users submitted searches for YouTube ground videos of the fire in the Pacific Palisades. They quickly had a readout which summarized the damage along the thousands of news articles and social media posts. Now, without prompting, Dante took into account that NASA also provides extensive information on fire locations. And they used the NASA data to provide that spatial context as well as precise fire locations. Now, this system also searched petabytes of government and commercial images, pulling what users needed at the right time in designated areas. Data from NGA's Global Enhanced GEOINT Delivery System, or GEGD, showed high-resolution contact from Maxar. In just 5 seconds, responders knew that the fire's extent and its active location. And then they got updated looks from space and on the ground, helping them to fully grasp the situation in real time. This then let them apply their expertise and their energy to fight the fire and saving lives.
Methane, a potent greenhouse gas, is 80 times more damaging than carbon dioxide. What you see here is a methane leak detected in the Permian Basin of Texas, emitting approximately 7,000 kilograms of methane per hour. To put that in perspective, each day that we save is the same as taking 1,100 gas-powered cars off the road for a full year. 1,100 for a full year. Planet launched its first hyperspectral satellite, Tanager-1, last year as a part of the Carbon Mapper Coalition. This philanthropic initiative aims to deploy satellites specifically designed to detect and monitor CO2 emissions from high-emitting sources, enabling targeted mitigation actions. Equipped with a state-of-the-art JPL spectrometer, Tanager-1 captured detailed imagery beyond human vision. Upon detecting this leak, Carbon Mapper swiftly alerted the operator, who successfully located the leak and sealed it within days. Since its launch in August, the coalition has identified over 1,000 methane and CO2 plumes, enabling proactive mitigation efforts that not only reduce greenhouse gas emissions, but also enhance operational efficiency and cost effectiveness for operators. This case underscores the significant benefits of hyperspectral data across commercial, civil government, and federal applications, demonstrating its pivotal role in addressing environmental challenges and promoting sustainable practices.
Now, as sanctions limit trades across Iran's borders, smuggling networks into Iraq and Pakistan have flourished. And since Russia's 2022 invasion of Ukraine and the imposition of Western sanctions against Russia, both Iranian and Russian flag vessels have increasingly engaged in the black market trade in the Caspian Sea. where vessels increasingly go dark by turning off their automatic information identification systems, or AIS. Now, Iran shares a rugged, mountainous 500-kilometer border with Iraqi Kurdistan. The region has emerged as a major route for trafficked goods. On the other side of Iran, both humans and oil are smuggled through Baluchistan to Pakistan. Now, Frame's granular subnational data shows that the populations in border regions with large smuggling operations are the least likely to feel the negative impact of sanctions. Now, this graphic shows Frame's hyperlocal community-level population data in a single square kilometer. This reveals the percentage of people who believe that their economic sanctions, or that the economic sanctions, have reduced their own household income. Now, nationally, more than half of Iranians believe that the economic sanctions have negatively affected their household income. And this belief is significantly less common in border regions such as the Caspian Coast, Kurdistan, and Baluchistan. So by understanding all of that, you can understand where the smuggling activity in Iran's borderlands is likely reducing the impact on international sanctions on these regions, and indicating where the country's large illicit economy allows it to circumvent trade restrictions. Now, leveraging all of this information, this kind of detailed human geography provides a nation's leaders with greater insight into the effects of sanctions so they can make more informed decisions, and ideally, more targeted application of those sanctions.
Researchers at the University of Maryland, one of our accredited university programs at USGIF, have made significant strides using GEOINT to combat the illegal wildlife trade. This illicit industry, valued in the billions globally, not only fuels criminal activities, but also poses severe risks, such as the transmission of zoonotic pathogens. Despite these risks, understanding the transmission dynamics, especially of high-consequence pathogens like anthrax, has remained elusive. Through innovative spatiotemporal analysis of Earth observation data and agent-based modeling, we are advancing our understanding of how illegal wildlife trafficking impacts human, animal, environmental interactions. A compelling example involves the tracking of the movements of African vultures to uncover the links between IWT, anthrax outbreaks, and human health risks. In southern Africa, vultures play a crucial role in the natural anthrax ecosystem by scavenging on carcasses contaminated with anthrax spores, often from illegally killed elephants. Poachers, attempting to evade detection, frequently poison vultures, which, although resistant to anthrax-related illness, can carry infectious spores on their feathers or tissues. By equipping vultures with satellite-enabled GPS trackers, local authorities can effectively map poaching activities, aiding in the prevention of illegal wildlife trade. These advancements in spatial temporal analysis contribute significantly to disease surveillance, enhancing our understanding and management of the risks to humans posed by naturally occurring anthrax outbreaks.
Vulture tracking. Who would have thunk it? Apparently the University of Maryland, so God bless them. Now, our community is known for innovative applications, such as you just heard, of all sorts of GEOINT techniques on all forms of data, spatiotemporally correlating that data on non-traditional data forms to provide analysts and decision makers with valuable insights. Now, in this example you see on the screen, white space analysts were asked to support a Southcom effort at the request of the Ecuadorian government to address wildcat gold mining connected to Chinese entities. Beginning with a known site of destructive illegal mining in Ecuador, white space analysts then searched Human Activity Indicator, or HAI, data to understand the activity at the site over several months last year, developing a pattern. Now, to move beyond this understanding, they then followed the where, who, where GEOINT methodology to discover other illegal mining sites. They queried more HAI data for the entities they discovered, and then they followed those entities wherever the data led them. Now, by this means, they then found new areas of activity in the jungle. They then queried for imagery that spatially and temporally correlated with this activity. That query then yielded contemporaneous imagery of the area showing the hallmarks of further illegal mining, the landscape, and the polluting of the environment. Now, this research then allowed Southcom to provide those Ecuadorian partners with situational awareness so they could mitigate these activities and strategically reduce China's influence in the region. Now, as this audience well knows, those Chinese activities around the globe represent a significant challenge across a wide array of missions. They are, in fact, our pacing threat. In August of 2024, Unseen Labs conducted a focused radio frequency, RF, data collection campaign. They captured more than 5,400 RF events near the Sea Lion cable, which connects Finland and Germany. Along these, 522 RF positions were within a 10-kilometer distance of the cable, and 518 of those were correlated to AIS, Automatic Identification System, data broadcast from ships, in support of safety of navigation. Now, notably, 2 RF-only emissions were detected, indicating the presence of vessels that had disabled their AIS transponders. This Unseen Labs approach proved crucial when in November of last year, the Chinese cargo ship Yiping 3 was implicated in the severing of 2 undersea cables in the Baltic Sea. Unseen Labs satellites detected RF emissions from the vessel. This allowed investigators to track its movements and establish a timeline linking the ship's proximity to the cable cuts. Now, while the Chinese government have attributed the damage to an accidental anchor drag, the coordinated timing and location of the incident raised the specter of deliberate sabotage. And this RF detection technology, and when applied with expert tradecraft, provides critical evidence, enhances maritime situational awareness, and supports international investigations into the incident.
And here's one last example for now. As of December 2024, following the abrupt collapse of the Assad regime in Syria, satellite imagery analysis confirmed a significant Russian military withdrawal from the Tartus naval base. Synthetic aperture radar, or SAR, from Capella Space, analyzed by Ursa Space, revealed that 3 Russian warships, one identified as the Admiral Grigorovich frigate, were present on November 24th, 2024. By December 15th, all 3 vessels had departed. This coincides with reports of Russian logistical operations, including the arrival of cargo ships and the appearance of new materiel and vehicles at the base, likely in preparation for equipment extraction. Tartus, a strategic point on the Mediterranean, marks a critical loss of Russian influence in the region, following Assad's departure to Moscow. This withdrawal may signal a recalibration of Russia's military posture in the Middle East, giving decision makers necessary situational awareness as events unfold.
Now, all of these were just relatively quick snapshots of what speaks to a larger truth, that this community doesn't stand still. We build, we adapt, we innovate, and we do it with a sense of shared purpose in continuing to move our discipline, our profession, and thus our mission forward. And with that, let's move to today's programming. Ronda, thank you for getting us started. We'll see you back here in just a little bit.